basically my whole life in several stages living with my aunt. And of course, my uncle as well, but today we're talking about my Aunt Aviva. From my youngest years, there's three stages. There's childhood, there's young adult, and there's old adult. So from my childhood, when I was young, I didn't like camp. And I was homesick. I went to camp for 2 years, but I really hated camp because I missed my mother. So my mother decided they need a vacation. They got to get rid of me. And Aunt Aviva said, you know what, send Yaki to Harrisburg and he could spend a few weeks here. And believe it or not, when I was there, I was not homesick and I didn't miss my mother. There was a motherly love that I felt from my aunt, which made me very comfortable. When I was older and the Metrics moved to New York, that was a great thrill for all of us to have our cousins. We were your only cousins. Actually, the Metrics were sort of our only cousins because unfortunately we didn't have much to do with our other side of the family. So it was a real small family. And you see, Baruch Hashem, what happened to the family over the years is a great schos for my aunt. But the most effective views and connections that I had with my aunt and uncle is really after they made Aliyah. I went to Israel every year on business for 27 years. That's how many years they're living there? Every single winter I would go to Israel on business, and very often I would stay there. And I was treated like a king. I couldn't even get out in the morning when I came back from shul. My aunt said, what do you want for breakfast? She was ready with eggs and toast and pancakes. I had to go to work. And we ended up sitting for an hour and sometimes 2 hours when I had to get out. But it was just so enjoyable to spend time and to feel loved by someone. It was like having a second mother. The families, of course, we lived across the street from each other, and my aunt even said by my mother's kvura that she felt like they were sisters. That's how close they were. They never felt like they were sisters-in-law, although they were different personalities, but a lot of their connection was similar in the way they loved the kids and in the way how they were gracious to other people from outside, inviting.
Scrabble.
They loved to play Scrabble. And I really felt extremely close to my aunt and uncle. There was nothing that I couldn't share with them. And I knew that my aunt felt close with me because just like she would admonish a child, she would me just as well. One time when I visited Israel, she tells me I came in and I had a blue shirt on. So she said, they still wear that? I said, yeah, some people do, but she was already so involved in the lifestyle in Israel where everyone was more yeshivish and they only wore white shirts, so she expected me, you're not a kid anymore, you're an adult. You should wear only a white shirt, She had her strong opinions and she voiced them very comfortably, but still graciously, and you could still love her. No matter how she told you something and whatever it was, you could still feel that she loved you. Anybody who wants to interject.
When she used to watch the news in Israel and she'd scream at the TV guys and yell at them because she disagreed with them.
Constantly.
It's very funny.
About the Israeli news.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah,
she was very strong about her views and her opinions. She would yell, politics. And also with Frumkeit, whatever, she moved to Israel, and basically, like a person, a Jew is always supposed to strive to become stronger and stronger in doing more mitzvahs and love of Hashem. She also improved constantly her whole life on this, and I guess the children there helped. The family there was good for her. I was thinking, and she was certainly a person that had a lot of bitachon growing up in Winnipeg and being the person that everyone else had to look at. There's a halacha that says that a person is always supposed to live near someone that could influence them for the good rather than for the bad. So she was the person that was good. She wasn't the one that had to live near someone that she should nurture from them. People looked to her and my uncle that that's the way someone should be. That's the neighbor that I want to be next to. On the other point that you mentioned earlier about it, that she and her mother were two peas in a pod, 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, I moved to Lawrence. Pesach, this is a story about Zaidi Pesach and Bobby Rachel. Somebody came over to me and said, I never met a Melmid. I once lived in somebody's house by the name of Melmid, Paul Melmid. You know him? I said, it was my grandfather. So this person came from Israel. He rented the basement apartment on 47th Street. And he was a tenant. He was 18 years old. I don't know exactly what he was doing. He said every single Thursday night, your grandmother would call down and say, are you going to be home for Shabbos? You'll eat with us. Every week. And he said, I did eat with them. She is a good cook, and she was so hospitable. He can't forget it. He said, then when I met my wife and I was going to meet my in-laws, my parents were in Israel. They couldn't afford to come, and I felt very bad. I was alone. Your grandfather told me, and Bobby Rachel said, we will go with you. They weren't related to him. He was just their tenant. They went to the Bronx to meet this person's future in-laws, and they got dressed up as for the Vart. Did you know this?
No, you had told me
I
this
might have
story
told you the
once.
story.
I could
So
not
this-
believe it.
He became very successful, but it's not for today.
Oh.
His name is Josh Gutman. He lives near me. And he said they were so nice to him that he now is a hospitable person himself, but influenced by someone like Bubby Rachel and Zaidi Pesach, and you say two peas in a pod, Aunt Aviva, gracious, loving, kind to everyone. Yesterday, when I was on the plane, I said, hey, I have to say a Dvar Torah tomorrow. Let me look around. I looked, it wasn't the Chumash, there wasn't the Siddur, there was nothing. All I had was a bracha achrona, because I had some cake. I said, look at that. When we daven, we don't understand the words fully. It pays to understand them sometimes. I'm making a bracha achrona after I had my cookies, and I see that it says here, Uvenei Yerushalayim Yehakodesh Meher V'Yameinu. It's all parts of benching. And all these things reminded me of my Aunt Aviva and Uncle Yitz. The dream was that they would eventually get to Eretz Yisrael. Uvenei Yerushalayim Yehakodesh Meher V'Yameinu. She never stopped talking about Ir HaKodesh. Baruch Hashem, she made it to Eretz Yisrael. V'haleinu l'socha. Bring us to Yerushalayim. Samcheinu b'vinyana. Make us happy that our family is growing and Yerushalayim is growing. V'nochal mipiyah, we should enjoy, eat from its fruits, and live b'kedusha of Tahara, which they did. They lived in Har Nov, they lived in Tuvei Ha'ir, with tremendous shloshim, and to have all the grandchildren, like you say, they continued to learn, and they had a tremendous amount of nachas. She will be missed, but she had a very happy, fruitful life. I loved her dearly, and all of us did. She should be a schus for the whole family, and hopefully, like I said after my mother was nifter, where is she? Maybe she's coming back. So maybe one day she'll come back, and when will that be? The time of Mashiach.
Amen.
Amen.